I am Latoya Dickens. I am a mother, grandmother, a great-grandmother, proud to be a strong survivor, and blessed to be 4 months free of incarceration. I grew up in Louisiana. I was raised by my grandmother and my grandfather. My mother came into the picture. She used to come back and forth to see me. It was like I'd be kind of sad when she come, but then I'd be happy she was there. Then when she leave, I was sad again. So it's like I was always dealing with the uncertainty of having my parents. And when she came into the home, that's when a little bit of the chaos and the confusion came in. She drank a lot, she partied a lot. My father, he would show up every other year or two just to visit, and it left a gaping hole in my heart. So I took my grandparents as my parents. So when I lost my grandfather, that was almost like I was losing my father. That was around about the time that I had met my children's father. And I was 13, he was 17. The abuse started when I was about 14. I was pregnant. My mother knew that something wasn't right outside of me being pregnant, and I wouldn't tell her that I was being abused because it was many times in the past where I told my mother things that had been done or attempted to be done to me by her male friends, and she didn't believe me. So I endured it by myself. We moved out of my grandmother's apartment behind like this little bar or club. The abuse intensified. It was always young guys, older guys, and they were extremely flirtatious. Instead of him seeing it as just compliments, he saw it as me being what he deemed hoish. When I called authorities for help, not once did I feel like they'd done all that they can do. Never was I asked about past abuse, rape, choking, or did I feel like he would kill me. I was told where I could and couldn't go, who I could and could not talk to. I spent too much time with my family. I was doing something. It got to the point to where I really became a hermit. When I did start fighting him back to protect myself, that made it worse. I was already good at trying to cover it up and making excuses. And although at the time I did not feel that our children were in danger, I felt that he would have brought harm or danger to them to get at me. I really tried to tough it out with my husband. His father was not present in his home. My father was not present in the home. So I thought I was doing the right thing by staying with him so our children could have both parents. I remember the hopelessness I felt while being told by the authorities there's nothing that we can do because he lives here too. Many times I tried to leave, but the day in questioning where I was incarcerated, I went out to try to leave and I didn't realize that my van was not going to crank. I didn't know till I went to court later on that meant my van had been disabled. The abuse I suffered at the hands of my husband was not taken into consideration during nor after trial. He charged at me, and so my defense mechanism automatically kicked in because I was so prone to being hit all the time. I saw the crazy in him, basically like, this is just it. You have to deal with it. You're not going anywhere. I recall going into the kitchen. I called the police and I told them, come and get my husband before one of us gets hurt. The DA twisted it up by saying she told us she was going to kill her husband, and she did. My truth is what led to my incarceration. Where is the help? When and how do you get help? Even the assistant wardens and the wardens,
These people will threaten you if you don't do and behave the way and in the manner they think that you should behave. You can't speak up or speak out when you're being wrong. And that's the same way I felt in court.
Witnesses that should have been at my trial were not subpoenaed by my attorney. And the witnesses that I did have were little to no help at all because the state say everything that they said was hearsay versus everything the witnesses for the state saying is the law.
Even as far as one of my main character witnesses, these were actual events that this lady had seen taking place with her own eyes, but they still wanted to call it hearsay. I mean, even in the beginning, the victim's family appeared like they was leaning toward my side. But once the prosecutor finished with them, they said life was too good for me. The prosecutor, of course, he's not on my side, but it was also never spoke of. It is very much possible that she could have ended up dead that day. I honestly and truthfully believe that the court system as a whole just wanted a conviction. I don't feel like the law has taken stories like mine into consideration in that courtroom back in 2001 when I was sentenced. It was no way of reading between the lines. It's just, we're gonna put her away, a life for life.
I left behind 3 children in 1999 after this horrific incident took place. If seen as a survivor and not a defendant, my children would have been raised by me, their mother, instead of the state and selected family.
The highlight of my day and my life is talking to my children on the phone. All of my girls are grown. I have 11 grandkids and 2 great grandkids.
It's hard parenting from prison, but I made it through the storm.
I can honestly say that I thank God that my children are still a part of my life, and I'm extremely thankful for that because I watched women along the way. They can't talk to their children, and they can't see their kids. And I feel like that is a very harsh sentence, to have your freedom taken away and your children.
Happy to be home, but I'm not just home. I want everyone else to be home with me. And the people that are home, I want to be sure that they never have to walk in the shoes that I walked in. So I'm hoping and praying that one day me showing up, that I can say something to help someone not have to go through what I went through in life.
There's a lot of women that were incarcerated with me that had similar stories. A lot of women that was sentenced harshly.
I'm working on getting my peer-to-peer specialist certificate so I would be able to go back inside the prison and help them, because one of the biggest needs, especially lifers, is making sure that they know that it's people out here that is continuously fighting for them and they are not alone.
A lot of people's cases have been swept under the mat. Nobody's looking into them.
A woman today sits in Lee Arundel State Prison for domestic violence. She has served over 20 years. She recently, in the past months, received a call that she lost her daughter and her grandchild to domestic violence. The vicious cycle continues. It has to be a better way to protect women and children from domestic violence. We need more attorneys that will go the extra mile and present a survivor as a survivor and not a defendant. Please, 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 I beg, open your eyes.